Oh boy, wow. All right. Up next is A Link to the Past. And we are going to be joined momentarily. We got two of my friends that are very good at this game. Are gonna be joining us. So we got this is 2 games down. Let me update this. Game 3 of 9. All right, 3 of 9. Unfortunately, the games start getting longer now, so they become a lot harder to complete. So, welcome, Moogle. How are you, buddy?
Yo, how's it going, man?
It is going pretty good. Bide, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, man?
I am good. Is it still Bide comes to us from what, northern Manitoba, Canada, when it was about negative 6,000 degrees the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been brutally cold, record-breaking colds. We got down to around minus 62 last week for a couple of days.
Oh my god, dude.
Minus 62. I got friends. I got a friend in Calgary and a friend near Winnipeg, and I've been like, it's been so cold, so I like look at the weather just to see, like, okay, 0 degrees here is not really that bad compared to what you're seeing. But
yeah, you get used. Well, no, you don't really get that used to it, but you make do, I guess. Is probably the proper word.
So, oh, thank you. Some guy named Bide subscribed.
Yeah, I don't know about that guy. He's a bit dodgy.
A bit sketch. Yeah. So tell us about you guys are both 2 of the best players in the world at this game.
It's very kind of you, but we're not quite there. We're probably top 50 players.
Yeah, we're both in the top 40 or so.
All right,
It's a very competitive game at the highest level.
let me rephrase. Probably the most popular Zelda game, or one of the most popular speedrunning games ever. You guys are only one of the 50 best players.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice token to have, but it's very, very competitive at the top. Like the every minute barrier that you break down is like exponentially harder to get to. Like going from 130 to 129 to once you get down to 125 and you're going to 124, you're talking like months, and then to get to 123 is just stupid stuff.
People typically take around 6-7 months to go from 125 to 124, and the world record is a low 123. So, like you said, it gets exponentially more time it takes to break down the next minute barrier. People have been trying to knock down 122 for about 5 years now, and they're only 4 seconds away.
As of a few days ago.
This one though,
insane.
I'm doing something a little different. Because I'm doing the, this is a category that's like one of the lesser known categories. Is this a brand new category? Is it brand new?
It's fairly new. It's actually myself that came up with the category or proposed the idea and came up with the rule set for it along with a couple other people in the community.
So this is kind of like as close to like the intended way of playing the game, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. That was kind of the idea. I'm still fairly new in comparison to people. I've only been speedrunning for about a year, and when I first came to the game, I didn't really want to have to learn, like bomb jumps and this, that, and the next thing, and I just wanted to play the game, but I also wanted to speedrun too. So this was kind of where I got the idea from the category, was just to play the game, without any kind of skips or tricks or anything fancy, and to see how fast you can play the game, I guess, that was the original idea of it anyways.
Good luck on the run, by the way.
Well, thank you. Well, let me
This
ask you,
game-
did you guys are, did you guys grow up with this game? Was this your first Zelda game?
This was my first Zelda game. Yeah, I got this game when I was about 5 or 6.
Okay, and Baide, what about you? Did we lose you? Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Was this your first Zelda game?
Yes, it's my only Zelda game. I have never played any other Zelda game ever.
What? What kind of blasphemy is this?
I know it's the worst place to be announcing something like that with a name like yours.
Wow, you're one of the best players in the world, and this is your only game you've. Wow. Yes.
Yeah, I have not dabbled in any other game. I've watched a few Z2 runs in the odd, Breath of the Wild, and just a little bit of it, but
lock you in the dungeon, and you're not allowed to leave until you play the whole series.
Wow, that's insane.
I know. Tell me about it.
Like, how many hours have you put into this game, Baide?
Me, I'd say I've put quite a lot in over the last year. I mean, COVID definitely it shut down my business. I run a DJ business, and it pretty much shut it down. So I had a lot more spare time this year than I usually have. So I've progressed, I'd say, pretty fast through the ranks for the time that I've played. So
Are you in the 4 digits, would you say, in terms of number of hours?
oh, I'd say so. Yeah,
I'd say so.
I'd say so for sure. Yeah.
Baide is a grinder. He's one of the fastest people to go from absolute ground zero, no speedrunning experience to a 125 in the history of the game.
So you've put 1,000 hours into this game, but you've put 0 hours into the rest of the Zelda series. That's.
I know.
Oh,
it's.
Oh man.
I know.
I don't know how I can.
I mean, I guess I was a SNES player. Well, growing up, I was a SNES guy. I never had any other consoles. That's all I had was the SNES. So
Okay.
that's probably part of why this was sort of one of the only games that I played, I guess.
This game kind of reminds me of Super Metroid in that aspect too, since you mentioned SNES games. It has a way of rewarding sequence breaks by doing dungeons in an unintended order. Like if you do Thieves Town, which is the 4th level in Dark World, early you get the Titan's Mitts and you can unlock the Tempered Sword, and it has a way of making some of the earlier dungeons a lot easier. If you do Mire early, you get the cane. It breaks the main puzzle in Ice Palace and makes that whole thing so much easier to deal with. And we're not going to be doing any of those, I guess, intended sequence breaks today.
Yeah, like this game is very much in line with the original Legend of Zelda, where there is a clear numbered order of the order of like doing the dungeons, but like there's a lot of options. You don't necessarily, especially once you're in the Dark World, after you beat the first dungeon, the first palace, then you can go to 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, I think there is, as you say, an intended order, but I still think it's, from my personal experience, I think it's a suggestive order. I still think the game was designed to be open concept. One of the first open concept games that I can remember, sort of. And also, I think it was the first. I've actually done a lot of reading on the history of the game, and there's a really interesting podcast about how the Light World and Dark World, it was the first time they'd ever sort of dabbled with that on any system, where one world actually mirrors the other world. I think this is one of the first games to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm not sure how easily it is for you to do it, but I think people are saying that the game audio is very, very low on the stream.
I will, after I get to the sanctuary, I will adjust that.
Yeah.
I think I've got, I think that's a good... But talking about, like, the sequence breaking, or the order, like, even when I was a kid playing this game, I never played this game in the anticipated order. Like, when I was in the Dark World, I always could never figure out how to beat the 5th dungeon, the Ice Palace, with the all that weird block pushing. So I remember I used to always play Misery Mire before I'd play Dungeon 6 before 5, specifically because you get the cane, and then that whole block puzzle at the end is totally different.
Right,
That's interesting,
breaks
yeah.
the whole sequence.
And it's almost intended, I think. Like,
It's very intended, I feel like.
Yeah, I definitely didn't do that. That would have been a smart thing to do, though. It's funnily enough, I remember I didn't really do sort of, I'm like I said, I was fairly still new-ish to speedrunning, but I do remember a friend of mine, one of my best friends back in the day, decided that we were going to try and complete this game in a whole day,
Okay.
start to finish. And I remember timing it, and it took us 13 hours. He
Wow.
came over at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we played it all day, and it took us about 13 hours to complete it from start to finish. And I thought that we were like gods.
That's so awesome. That's actually not too different from how I got into speedrunning myself. So, growing up, my friend's uncle was really big into A Link to the Past, and it was my favorite game. I was maybe 12, 13. I was talking to my friend's uncle and asking him, if he could help me because I was missing a heart piece or something. And he claimed that he could beat the game in under 4 hours, and I thought, well, there's no way, that's not possible. So, I continued to play this game about once a year, every year after that. And at some point, I planned out a route and estimated I could probably beat the game in under 3 hours. No speedrunning experience whatsoever, and I sat down and beat the game in about 2 hours and 58 minutes.
okay. And when was this? How long ago?
I want to say 2010, 2011.
Okay.
And
then-
I had no idea what speedrunning was until about 3 or 4 years after that. I didn't know a community existed or anything, or leaderboards or any of that.
When, so fun story actually. We had a team member at Zelda Dungeon. He goes by the name the Bombster, and he used to speedrun this game before speedrunning was like a thing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think he had a time of like 134. This is circa like 2010.
Sure.
And I remember we did a stream on Ustream, I think it was, or it might have been Justin TV. It was way before Twitch was a thing. And I remember he was advertising it as like trying to get the world record in the game. God knows what the world record was at the time.
Blue Sentio would be able to tell you. He's sort of a historian with that sort of thing. The only run I know of from back around that time was by this guy called Whack, and that was back before speedrun.com and all of that. So they used Speed Demos Archive,
Yeah.
SDA timing. So the timer would start when you gain control of Link when he gets out of bed, which is like 27 seconds faster. So let's see here. On October 16th, 2008, he got a 136.15, which would have been like a 135.48 SDA.
Okay.
There's actually the GBE version actually still uses SD timing, funnily enough.
Oh, that was on the Game Boy version?
That wasn't, but I'm just saying that the SD timing is not obviously the way that we time things much anymore, but it is actually still used for that game for timing.
Oh, I have a question for you, buddy. Since you made the rules for this category, and I was playing this the other day, I did one run of this to get my initial time.
Mm-hmm.
Are you allowed to do the trick to get the key? The key.
Yes. That is what we call iframes, which is just a natural intended thing in the game.
Okay.
So basically, the way they would try to think of it is like, if there's things that can happen in a game, like you could take damage and end up hitting a switch, or, that can just happen. You can't police something like that. So like things like that, it's it's fine. But mostly the things that are banned are intentional tricks that are,
Oh, jeez, what did I just do?
gonna be set up that's gonna, break the game, I guess.
Well, I just screwed that up. How to recover from it. But, okay. So normally you would not kill these guys. This takes forever.
it's interesting to me that you chose to allow this particular trick and not using bomb iframes to damage boost over pits, which is something that we do 4 different times in the normal NMG run.
Yeah, I mean, I think what happened is that when you get into discussing glitches in this community, whoa, it's people take it pretty seriously, and you know,
I can definitely verify that.
Yeah,
it's definitely not just a link to the past, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's like what it comes down to this whole discussion: what is a glitch, and this isn't a glitch; it's technically this, and all this sort of thing. And the way that I tried to put it to people was, I don't really want or care that something is a glitch or not. I just want to make a rule set based on how I want the run to be. So, for instance, like soccer, for example, you can't use your hands. Doesn't matter if it's if it helps you or doesn't help you. You just can't use your hands. End of story. That is the rule, right? And that's kind of the way that I think about bomb jump. It doesn't matter if it's a glitch or not. This is what it allows you to do, and we don't want you to do that. So for that purpose, it's banned. If that makes sense.
What you're saying is, in soccer, if you use your hands, that's a glitch.
Yeah.
He's got the idea. Yeah, so there's sort of 2 different camps as far as that goes. There are the people that say, well, we want to define the rule set as this because this is how we want to play the game, and there are people that get really deep into defining what the code is and what they think that should mean. So
by the way, real quick, guys, is the audio better? I know I raised it a little bit. I don't know if you guys can hear the game now. All that time loss is because I was adjusting the audio. Oh, do we hear Little Bide in the background?
What are you doing over there, you?
I'm watching.
We have, Bide, is that your daughter? Bide?
Yep, sorry.
Is that your daughter in the background?
That was my daughter, yes.
So somebody drop the Bide command?
Is it that one? There you go.
There.
Yeah, I decided to teach my 4-year-old. I didn't know how she would do with it, but I decided to teach my 4-year-old how to speedrun the game, just the basic part of the game, which has a 1 or 2 glitches. And yeah, I was actually surprised she can do the whole thing, and she managed to get a 4-minute time, so it's pretty cool. And that's the video there, so.
So Bide's 4-year-old daughter, did you say?
She's 4, yeah.
4-year-old daughter has a speedrun submitted time on A Link to the Past any %.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. She's quite good at it.
One of my favorite videos. Oh my goodness, what is happening here? Is the video where your daughter pulled off the what's it called?
The poke spin with the second key guard.
The charge attack, yeah, with the spin attack, and then
that was unreal.
You just like lose your mind.
They forever surprise you. That's all I'm gonna say about having kids.
So
you think you've seen it. You think you've seen it all, and then
was that your daughter's first? Is your daughter? Does she play games a lot? Or?
She does. I mean, I got into gaming around the same age as she did. Actually, I was about maybe 4 or 5 when I got my Super Nintendo. And I mean, I'm a big gamer, but I didn't really want to push her into gaming or anything like that. So I just sort of set her up with the SNES Classic, and I just sort of let her play. Really, I didn't want to show her too much or kind of guide her too much. I wanted to kind of work it out by herself, and she just took it in her stride. Like, she just loves it, and you know, like, it's, you know, she needs a little bit of help, but I was actually really impressed with how much she enjoys playing. And then once I check back every now and then, I'm like, oh my, like, how did you castle, and oh, you're in this dungeon. I'm like, how did you get in there? Like, so just like I couldn't believe how good she was doing. So then I was like, I wonder if we could teach her a speed run.
So does she like playing Zelda? Like, does she?
She does. It was the first game she really, really loved playing, but now she's definitely Kirby and Super Mario is her two favorite games now. But she does still play A Link to the Past every now and then.
Super Mario 64? Super Mario World?
Yeah, Super Mario World and Kirby's Dream Adventures are two favorite games.
Okay, so normally you wouldn't come to this cave, but because of this, is this category, like, is this cave worth coming to? I
have no idea what the cave this is. Sorry.
Have you ever seen this room before?
Oh, this is the Moldorm cave, I think. Yeah, I'm not used to seeing this cave. I have no idea where you are, what you're doing.
That's smoking like a real speedrunner there.
I did attempt this category for a couple of days, and to be honest with you, I don't remember the rupee route. I know it's different because you need to get the flippers early. Normally, we do the first we do 1, 3, and 4 in Dark World, and then get the flippers and go to 5. But here, we got to have the flippers for level 2, and you don't have a whole lot of Dark World access at that point. So a lot of options for getting rupees are sort of off limits at that point in the game.
Yeah, the optimal route is to get the tree pulls, and I believe you get the backup as well. So you get the courtyard rupees, and then you also pick up all the rupees in Pod Basement.
Okay.
Is the optimal routing of it.
I'm like remembering things right after I'm supposed to remember them. Like I'm doing, like I played this pretty regularly in the fall. I would say I probably did like 20 runs. I got pretty familiar, and I was like watching a lot of speed. I still watch a lot of people play, but it's different when you're actually playing. Like I'm like forgetting the rooms, and then like I'm in the rooms, and then I do it the wrong way, and then I immediately remember, oh wait, I was supposed to do it that way. You guys feel at this point that if you stopped playing this game and didn't touch it for like a year and then you came back, would you have forget anything?
Funnily enough, I just took I think 6 weeks off the game. Funnily enough, I went to go play Minecraft for a while, and my first run back I PB'd. So
wow,
there you go.
It is like that, but it's like on a D-Rust, there's no pressure to, play at a certain level or anything like that. So funny enough, when the pressure is off, sometimes it's easier to perform. So D-Rust PBs are definitely a thing that happens. But as far as losing things skill-wise, I think one of the first things to go for me when I take a very long break from the game was the enemy prize packs. You have to remember, like the one with the Stalfos and the Baris, they drop 5 arrows and they drop a bomb, and you have to remember what order they drop those, because you want to pick up those inventory items at some point in the game for your inventory routing. And it's really important to keep track of which enemy is going to have a chance to drop one of those. That, for me, is one of the first things I lose when I take a long break from the game.
Oh wow, okay. That is like way over my head. Like I'm okay.
Usually it's the smallest details that start to slip away first.
Yeah, price packs is something I only really track the 1 or 2 price packs. I don't know any of the other ones, so it's not necessarily game breaking, but it will help you and can save a couple 2 or 3 seconds if you know all of them essentially.
So we have we're at the second boss, the Land Mollusk boss here, and what was it last week? Was it Moogle? You did the 100 Land Mollusk boss battles in a row.
Yeah, we all got together and did a race. I think about 9 or 10 of us. We did 100 Land Mollusk in a row.
this is not how you went. I don't know how to do this, boss. This guy's... So back in the day, when I was a little Zelda player, I always had the ice rod at this point. That was always
interesting.
I just got
It's
the
a
ice
very
rod.
good way to do it.
And that was
Yeah, ice rod is definitely a good way to do it. There's actually a category that utilizes ice rods. It's I tell you what it was. It's A Link to the Past co-op NMG. We worked out with. Funnily enough, it's something I found. Funnily enough, in a low percent category that you can basically get something early, the ice rod early, and do a water walk trick, and it's something we used in Mold Arm, but we actually used it in A Link to the Past co-op NMG, so that my partner could get the ice rod and do Landmolus with the ice rod to try and one cycle him. Because you can one cycle Landmo with an ice rod.
Yeah, the co-op NMG is a really crazy concept. There are two players in the same game world at the same time, and when one of them collects an item, the other one can use it immediately. So they route the game in a way that there's as little downtime as possible waiting for somebody to pick up an item. It's so crazy.
that sort of
And
goes,
it's a lot of fun too. A lot of fun.
that goes kind of hand in hand with like randomizer. I feel right. Like, isn't that was that built in through the randomizer community?
Yes, I guess it's ALTTPO is it used to be just like a script, like a Lewis script that someone made, which was you didn't have two people in the same game at the same time. Literally, it was just you got an item, it switched over to the other person. But this you can actually have when we're in the same screen, you actually see the other person in the same screen at the same time.
Oh,
and
really?
you can have up to 20 people in the game at the same time.
Oh my god. So there's
Yeah, it's insane. There's like videos of like 8 people fighting Ganon, and there's like 8 Ganons and 8 people all on the screen at the same time. It's absolutely bonkers.
Oh wait, there's more than one Ganon?
No, there's not more than one Ganon. Sorry, there's 8 people,
Okay.
but you can see like bats, and it does a lot of wonky stuff. And
Wow.
yeah, it's the first time you see it, it's really hard to get used to because there's lots going on. There's invisible bats, and then there's real bats, and then you don't know which one's which. Yeah, there's a lot of funky stuff that goes on with it.
Wow.
It's really cool run to see, though. Actually, if you've never seen like a co-op run, it's quite fascinating to see. And then the people are running RNG now, so there's glitch categories for co-op too. So there's we're hoping to grow it, and the main setback with it, unfortunately, is that it's only on emulator at the
Right.
emulator is it's pretty rough when you're used to playing on a console or classic or whatever. So once we are hopefully the guys working on a console port, and then hopefully once that happens, we're going to hopefully gain a little bit of interest in the category and grow it a little bit.
Yeah, when they bring it to console, I'm going to become very interested. I think a lot of people will.
So you guys play you play on the Super Nintendo Classic. Both of you? Is that right?
I have, yeah. I started playing on that for the first probably 10 months, and I just switched to original console and FX Pack about probably 6 weeks ago, maybe.
A
2
Super
months.
Famicom? Is that what you play on?
Just like a SNES, just a regular SNES with the FX Pack Pro. It's like a cartridge. You put the SD card in, put the games on it, essentially.
Okay, because you play the Japanese. I mean, you got to play the Japanese version. I'm playing the Japanese version because it's just so much faster, right? The text is faster, and what else is
All the glitches is basically you have to basically do it on. It has to be Japanese 1.0 as well. They patched a lot of the glitches for the 0.1 and 0.2.
The FX Pack is so nice because it lets you play any Super Nintendo ROM on the original hardware with the same latency as the original hardware. And if you've been doing that for long enough and you go back to the SNES Classic, the 1 frame latency or whatever it is just, it's so painful. You feel it.
I was playing. I'm playing on the Japanese ROM on an emulator, and I generally am not a supporter of well, it used to be kind of like a, I don't know. Believe me, I like getting physical. Look, I like physical games.
Oh no, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
It's the, you know, the realist aspect of it essentially. But no, I understand what you're saying. Sometimes it is just trying to get a Japanese 1.0 cart in today's world is not easy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
The way they used to do it back in the day, though, before the practice hack was invented in like late 2014, early 2015, and what they did before that was they would get the Japanese 1.0 cartridge, and there was this piece of hardware back in the day called the Nakitech Game Saver that you could plug your cartridge into it and then plug that into your Super Nintendo, and you could make one save state and save and load anywhere in the game. So what they would do is go through the game one screen at a time and practice and reload the screen until they were satisfied with it, and then move on to the next section of the game.
Okay.
So it was really tedious to practice in this way.
Yeah.
Now we have a ROM file with every room loaded onto it, and you can go anywhere in the game instantly.
So normally we would do a bomb jump to get this moon pearl in like the glitch category, but that is not allowed in this one.
That is correct.
Which is a good thing, I think. Honestly, had I known this category existed, I would have definitely run this category before the regular category.
I'd say of all the opinions, I guess, on all of the rule set, I guess that was the biggest one that people have gripe with, because it is not, in speedrunning or terminology, I guess it's not a glitch.
Mm-hmm.
So the category is named Glitchless, and people were like, well, it's not a glitch, and you know, that sort of thing, which is fair enough. I'm not arguing that it is or not, but again, it was more to Moldar, oh no, down the double right to the bottom.
It reminds me in a lot of ways the Ocarina of Time bug limit category debate. They wanted glitchless, but they also wanted like a category that has no unintended mechanics used in the game, and
right.
that's two completely different things.
Right. I think like the infinite sword glitch isn't there. What was that? Was that a glitch right there?
I mean, it's a rail clip, so yeah, in some sense.
We have like discretion. There is like things in the rule set about that. It's like accidental rail clipping and stuff is like, yeah, there's not much you can do about that. Like, it's hard to police. Yeah. I'm not gonna rip someone's run because they accidentally like clipped into a rail. Because it happens in there's a screen where you get hit by, I think it's a pole ball, and it can actually knock you right into EG, I think, or out of bounds in the run. It's it happened to me in an NMG run, and then I lost my run because of it. I didn't know how to get out of it. I learned that one the hard way, unfortunately.
I'd say
GG.
Yeah, good game. I'd say the biggest barrier to entry for getting into no major glitches in this game is the Ice Palace bomb jump saves well over 3 minutes, because the intended way to do it, we'll see later on, you have to make the loop around Ice Palace 3 times to solve the puzzle. And boosting yourself over that gap with the pegs in the wrong position saves several minutes, and it's sort of a required trick to get into the speedrun initially. So,
Funnily enough, it's actually gained a little bit of traction lately. There's been, I think, 3 or 4, 5 runners lately running it, so which is good to see.
Running what you're referring to?
Running this game, like GDO, like this category.
Oh, you know, well, I think it's not in the main category though. It's in the it's in the extensions, is it?
Category extensions.
Yes, yeah, that's right. It's in the category extensions.
I think that hurts.
Yeah,
it.
actually,
don't know why.
Yeah, I
there's an
could see
extension.
that.
Why don't they just put them all in one category? I don't understand that.
I think it's because there is so many. Like, there's categories for all sorts of things, like playing with one hand, playing blind, grabbing a certain item. Like, I think it's to try and discern from you like the main category of the game to be run by most people, and then we call them meme categories, just like how fast can you get this this item in the game or something like that. You know.
Or like how fast can you pick up a chicken, or just dumb things like that.
Yeah.
Wait, that's a category? Kuko percent? Like,
Yeah.
There's categories for everything, man.
Okay.
Like,
There's
honestly.
there's individual boss RTAs for all major glitches allowed, kill any specific boss as fast as possible, and you can beat any boss in the game in under 10 minutes.
with glitches and everything, you're saying?
With glitches, yeah. They're
Oh,
all
wow, so,
glitch
like-
categories, yeah.
Getting to... Oh, wow, that seems crazy, actually.
Like, you
getting
can
to
do land molish, you can get to him in about 4 minutes, and then you can get to Armos in about 4 minutes, and you can get to all of them in like 4 or 5 minutes.
Wow.
And they're actually quite well run for category. I'd say they're probably one of the most category extension runs on the boards.
Yeah, every
I'd
once in a
say.
while, somebody will pick it up and go really hard and try to sweep the world records for those. It's a really good way to... It's a good introduction to the major glitches side of speedrunning this game.
Yeah, like in most Zelda games, I would say any percent is the main category. This is one of the exceptions because this game is so broken.
Definitely the exception.
Yeah, I think Link's Awakening is another one where, because like you can beat this game, Bidey's 4-year-old daughter beat it in 4 minutes here,
Hmm.
Yeah, no, it's you would want that as your main category of the.
Yeah.
Although I think it has the most runs on it, though. Funnily enough,
Okay. I
the
didn't know
true
that.
we call it true any percent because I mean it's the true any percent category, but it has more runs than NMG. I'm pretty sure it does.
This is true. You'd be amazed how many people a week submit speedruns for true any percent. It's a really easy category to pick up. It only takes a few minutes to learn and do a run.
I feel like I should learn it just to submit a score.
Yeah, you could learn it in like 5 minutes and easily get like a 3:30 time or something like that.
My goal is to beat your daughter.
I imagine you could probably...
I'll tell you what, I'll give you a go. We beat my blindfold 90%. How's that?
I'm coming after your daughter. Oh boy.
I imagine you could probably start learning the category and beat his daughter in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm not accepting that. If you can try and if you don't beat my blindfolded run, I'll be. This
How
But
long
it
was
is-
your blindfolded run?
It's like a 3:03, I think.
Oh man, that's pretty impressive.
Oh,
Yeah, the world record's sub 3, which is insane for blindfolded. That would be a big grind.
I think the world record for that route is like 2:48, so getting a 3:03 blindfolded is pretty damn good.
Yeah, funnily enough, it's there's been people who do lots of Parisian player. He's a legend in the blindfolded
Mhm.
community in this game. He's done crazy like speedruns where he does. I mean, the thing is, the main thing that's holding back this NMG blindfolded run is mold arm. No one to this day can how to do mold arm.
Oh, blindfolded.
Hours
arm?
and hours. Yeah, like no one can do it.
That's
Because there's just no way to get the fight to work in your favor. There's no tricks. There's just nothing you can.
Can you?
There-
Yeah. I was thinking like.
Yeah,
Sorry. Go ahead.
I know.
Trust me,
I know
I've tried it.
Parisian does Master Sword major glitches blindfolded, and he does it in under 2 hours. He gets Master Sword blindfolded. It's wild. I don't remember what he does for Moldor.
Like I was thinking, if you can,
I
like,
think they glitch. I think there's a glitch for it. As well. I don't know if he does the actual fight blindfolded, unless he just retries it a whole bunch of times. But
like if you like just face left and hold the sword.
yeah, it's I don't know. I tried it for about an hour one day, frickers, to see if I could even get close to it, and I got 3 hits was the most I could get. Like as soon as you get hit, you have no concept of where you are.
Yeah.
Which is the problem number 1. Problem number 2, if you do manage to kill him, you need to pick up the heart and the pendant without knowing where you are on the screen. So
Yeah,
there's that as well.
Oh boy.
It's basically not possible to get 6 hits on him blindfolded, which is why Parisian chooses to do Master Sword major glitches, so he can get a better item set for fighting Moldorm. 6 hits on Moldorm is just not realistic.
Yeah, it's you put it on for even like 10 minutes, you would see it as impossible, like impossible.
Is that 5? Do I 5?
So I was gonna put in some BB for your chat because this is always a cool discussion point of the game.
How many?
Let me put this in here for your chat. So I'm going to put in your chat for your chat there, guys. This is a little bit of an explanation as to what blue balls is. It's not, maybe the blue balls that you've heard before are a little bit different.
What are the
but
blue
similar
balls we've
in a
heard
way.
before? What is going on right now? What?
Oh my goodness, how many blue balls you had?
7? 8?
Yeah, if this is a energy ball, then this will be.
Oh my
if
god.
not, it's more.
Oh.
Like 7.
I think I had, well, he had 3 lightning attacks.
Yeah,
So,
Timecraft. It's always funny when people who don't play the game and all of a sudden we start getting. Look at you strangely.
15. Have you ever had 15 blue balls? Oh boy.
I haven't. There's only there's 2 recordings. Funnily enough, there's only one person I believe who has a live recording of the balls, and he's had it. The same guy's had it. I think there's a couple of people who claim to have it, but yeah, I think it's Steven, isn't it, Moogle, who it happened in a run, like a run or something like that, was it? Or was it a run for a marathon or something? I could be wrong there.
I remember.
I don't know if it was a marathon.
There's something similar in Wind Waker HD with the. You gotta get the Swift Sail, which is only in the HD version to make it so you can sail faster. But you get it after the first dungeon. It's about an hour into the game.
Oh, right, the auction house.
Yes. And I think on average you get it on, I think the 3rd or 4th is like average.
I want to say it's 20% to get the Swift Sail, so yeah, you just retry it until it appears.
I think, and it was at we run our annual Zelda Dungeon Marathon every July, and I think Josh, one of our team members, was playing. I think it took him like 23 attempts to get it. Man, it's like getting more than 8 is like rare. It was fantastic.
It's always funny when you have RNGs like that in the game. We have another similar one, 100%, where it's chess game and dig game.
Oh yeah. It's great.
Oh, if you give the game an opportunity to troll you, you better believe it will.
Oh god, the chess, digging game is.
I think somebody had like 23 digging games once.
Yeah, and chess is in like the 60s, I believe.
Yeah.
Is 60 attempts a chess game?
Yeah, I think it's
my
like
God.
up there, 60 or 70. Yeah, I think Blanche had a 60. I think if I remember, and yeah, it's insane.
I know Twilight Princess also has another one of those too, where you do the sumo wrestling and it's random.
Yeah.
But just to show how rare 15 is, it's I think in all the years that this game has been around, there's really only one person who's ever sort of seen it in a live run, and he has it twice.
Yeah,
The
but
same person.
here's the thing, though, is I think a lot of people just don't understand how uncommon it is. When I had been speedrunning the game for a couple of months, I got 13 blue balls around that time. And in order for that to happen, you have to get all 13 of them consecutively, because if you get a blue ball any time before, then it's not possible to get more than 11. And I didn't realize how stupidly rare 13 was when I got it. It's like 1 in 10,000.
Yeah, basically go get a coin and flip it 13 times and have it land on heads every time. See how long it takes you to do it.
Oh boy. That's 13.
That's-
2 to the 13th power. Yeah, that's. Jeez, that's in the 6 digits. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
I mean, I've been speedrunning like I said, I've got lots of hours, and the most I've ever had. And I've put a lot of hours into the game, so.
Most people will never get more than 11. In order to do that, you have to get all 12 plus consecutively.
I need more than this.
I have seen a 12 live in a run. That's the most I've ever actually seen live, but I've never seen more than that. Who was that? I can't remember who got that.
Couldn't tell you.
That was about a few months ago. That was when I first started.
Abide, do you know what this room looks like? You seen this room before?
Yes, I do know this room. You went in the room.
Yeah. I'm having a hard time here. Yeah. Don't forget this key. That's one thing I learned. Oh, I was supposed to throw a bomb.
Yeah, definitely don't forget the key. You're gonna have a bad time.
I remember in my run I mirrored out there without getting the chest in GDO a couple of times
Oh.
because of muscle memory. Just switch the mirror and just mirror back without grabbing the chest. Be painful.
One of the things that impresses me so much about randomizer players is they learn the layouts of the dark rooms so they can do it without the lamp. So they navigate all these dark rooms completely blind. It's incredible.
Yeah. They go through
Forwards and backwards.
and they go through the mountain without the. That's not as hard, but I've seen that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of silly that is an like the lamp is. People don't think the lantern is like like. It's not really an item. I don't know.
The settings make it beginner friendly, so it's really easy to get into randomizer because nothing is locked, or the lamp is never going to be locked behind a dark room, so it's really accessible in that way.
Yeah. Like in the base game, there's never a time where you can enter a dark cave without. Well, I guess there is if you just choose not to get the lamp. But
No,
like,
not even. You can't push the shelf to get into the sewers. Zelda won't let you if you don't have the lamp.
Oh, okay. So in the base game, it never even encounters that you.
Yeah, they can't do with it glitching.
All right, Helmasaur King.
Oh, I've never seen anyone do that before.
Oh boy, this is not the way to do this. What is? This is Satan % in here, and I'm accessing the map.
No,
Sorry.
That's why we call this room the Turtle Party.
That's.
Quick, somebody play the theme song.
All right, this used to be my biggest hurdle in this run. This guy is hard, I think. Like, without.
Yeah, I think this is the first big hurdle in the game. If you're trying to do the proper safety route and wait until Thieves Town to get the net and bottle, this guy is the big run killer.
Funny thing
when
about
garbage
that,
like that happens.
oh,
Okay.
Okay. We got out of there.
You actually got the god RNG if you're not doing hammer hits.
That was
You
good.
just
Oh,
didn't
that
know
was-
how. You just didn't know how to do the double spin, eh?
Yeah, when he pins you to the wall like that, if you charge a sword spin to the side, it counts for a double spin.
Oh, okay.
You hit him twice over, so it's 4 hits. So yeah, that's actually a good thing, not a bad thing.
Well, when you don't know what you're doing, that's a bad thing. Because then it's like, get
Oh,
off
yeah.
of me, leave me
Alright.
alone.
If you get
also-
an aggressive Helmasaur, it can be a very bad thing.
It's also a bad thing when you're in spin speed state and you can't charge your sword and you forget how to get out of it. I ripped one the other day. I got trapped like that. It's never happened to me with the new spin tech, and I just stood there and didn't know what to do. I was trying to charge my sword and didn't get my sword out because of spin state. And then I just died because he just crunched me.
A lot of people starting out in this game, when they go and get the book before desert, they'll stop by the village and pick up a net and bottle, and it's because this guy kills runs.
Yep. So out of the way, I feel like. But-
It's about 40 seconds out of the way.
Which is kind of a... Actually, it's really not that huge of a deal. When you're in the, like, 140, 150 range, but...
But as you're trying to cut 140, that
Yeah.
40 seconds starts looking better and better.
Funny thing about this category is I'd say it's the only category in the game where getting blue mail is a viable
Yeah.
safety without losing any time. I think it's about
Yeah,
6
sure.
seconds or 7 seconds. I actually grab it in my runs.
I'm gonna be getting the blue mail. So this order is way out of whack, I think, compared to what anybody's used to here, right? Like,
Yeah.
why did I put that there?
And also, yeah, getting powder is very viable too because you don't have to flute to get it.
Mhm. Funny
So-
enough, I actually found this to be quite a difficult category when I tried it.
How come? What, like, just...
Just
Go ahead, sorry, Miguel.
in my experience, there were just a lot more silly places to potentially lose runs. Well, I think a lot of it was muscle memory and forgetting that you can't do certain things.
Yeah, a lot of
Right.
people rip runs by accidentally doing a glitch because they're that ingrained in doing them. It's one of the hardest parts about the speedrun for people. It's actually not, and that's why running on 1.2 is actually the best way to do it because it stops you from being able to do, some of the glitches that are in
Yeah,
that
sure.
patch.
I did a
It was-
glitch unknowingly in or on instinct. I did a glitch in this when I ran this back a few days ago. When I've only run this one time. That's these splits.
Which glitch was it that you did?
After I beat Moldorm in Ganon's tower,
Hook through the block?
I did hook shot through the block. Yeah.
Mm.
You know who else did that? Fox did that.
Oh,
He got all the way to the room and GT and he did that little, 10 frame, hook through the block thing to save time and ripped the run.
No.
that's awesome. It's fantastic. It's
And it's not even it's the tiniest time save. It's maybe 20 frames or something like that.
half a second.
It's just-
Okay. Swamp Palace. I don't. Is the fastest way the waterways to get to the Swamp Palace from here?
Oh, yeah, well, you have to go out because you can't use Flute in Zora's domain.
I don't have to.
And then, yeah, you go to the waterfall. You use the same waterfall that you would go to for Ice Palace. And then you go,
Northwest.
you swim with northwest, yep, and you go down that way.
Is it better to swim southeast and do the ice? No, that's. You need the flute.
Yeah, 2 golds in a row. We're clawing that time back.
I think there's I have no idea. Am I comparing against the? All right, I gotta go to. Oh, this is another place where you can. I didn't do the mirror glitch though. Here. I assume
Yeah,
that's
that's another.
banned.
I don't know. You don't. Yeah, I don't think you can do that in 1.2. I think I got patched. I don't know though. Let's not find out.
Well, it's not allowed in this category either.
No, it's not.
Got a run killer. Oh, one thing I noticed when I was playing this is that like, it's like suddenly the Argus battle is difficult.
It's probably the hardest boss, I would say, out of all of them.
It's
Like
like
Master Sword Argus is difficult.
yeah, it's like what is this?
Yeah, Tempered Sword makes Argus and Moth so much easier. Normally you come in here, you have 11 or 12 hearts, you got your Tempered Sword, and just don't worry about anything. You take so many hits in this dungeon normally. Now you gotta be careful.
Yeah, you're coming in with a lot less hearts as well.
This is not a really hard dungeon though. Not that. Well,
It's not, but you definitely got to take your time and not run into all of the enemies because there's a lot of them moving in random directions, and it's really easy to take 2 or 3 hits in a room and then suddenly you're down to just a few hearts.
is it faster to lift or use hammer on these skulls? By the way,
Technically, I think it is picking them up, but it's easier to do it with a hammer for timing. I believe that's what it is. Because I believe that hammering a pot's 3 frames slower than picking it up and tossing it.
It's no more than a few frames difference. Yeah, in real time, it basically doesn't matter. Whatever you are the fastest at is what's fastest.
I would say in terms of the dungeons, the only dungeons that I ever like have worry of, like Turtle Rock is always a worry of dying. Actually, it's really just like 2 rooms in Turtle Rock.
I think that when you talk about, you were saying earlier, I think this is a fairly easy dungeon. I think as you progress through the game, what becomes easy and what becomes hard is depicted by what you're trying to achieve at your skill level. So what I mean by that is when you start off, you have, safeties and bottles and fairies and, things are easier when you have that. Then when you start to drop them, or like powder, for instance, like once you start to that, things become harder. And then once you start optimizing dungeons, like funnily enough, Swamp is the easiest dungeon, as in it's not going to kill you. But I struggle to do this fast because doing Swamp fast is really, really difficult. Like doing it like really fast.
Swamp is actually one of the last dungeons that people typically get to a very high skill level at.
There's a lot
Meyer,
going
on the other
in it.
hand, Meyer, on the other hand, is really a difficult dungeon for mid-tier players, but it has one of the lowest skill caps of all of the Dark World dungeons. It's one of the easier dungeons in the game, I'd say, to consistently play within 5 seconds of gold.
Yeah, like my Swamp Gold compared to some of the top runners, Swamp Gold is like, I'd say 10 seconds. And that's basically because of being able to do Swamp fast and nail a 0 cycle in the same run. Which is probably the hardest trick in the game. And it's about 8 seconds or 7 seconds of time save. Plus you got to do it in a run where you've nailed Swamp at the same time. So that's what makes it probably one of the hardest dungeons to do optimally.
Yeah, if you're... Sorry, go ahead.
In this upcoming room here, where you gotta like push this block to the corner. What am I doing?
Yeah, you can do that trick where you do hook speed.
Sometimes I can't get the block on the switch, or I can't lift the switch. Does that ever happen to you?
Yeah, that's because you're probably not doing hook speed, are you? In NMG?
Like, sometimes I just push this too close, and then I can't lift this thing. This right here.
Yeah. So what you did there is you just hooked normally. What a lot of people is that you're meant to do the same. Do you know what hook speed is?
No.
When you push, okay, so you push, it's the same state that you get into, I think, as spin speed. And
Oh.
you push Y and A on the same frame, and it puts you into that state and allows you to pick up the a lot easier in that state when the statue's over the pot.
It changes the window for picking up that pot from, I think, 2 pixels to like, I think it's like 7 or 9 pixels or something like that. It makes the range so much easier if you're in the hook speed state.
Okay. Well, that explains that.
The way I
Go ahead, sorry, Miguel.
The way I realized I was doing it wrong the whole time was I loaded up the room in the practice hack, and it literally says in the title hook speed room, and I was like, oh, that's how they do that.
That's funny enough, I was about to say the exact same thing. That's how I found out about it.
Alright, I don't know if there's strategy to this. Or just don't die. I don't know.
Just don't die, yeah, that's a good strategy for sure.
Yeah, the actual optimal technique for Master Sword Argus is so crazy.
Like
It's
a
so
poke
crazy.
or something? Or like you hold your sword out and it...
Yeah, so you have to hold the sword out and then hook one puff and then move to the side and hook another puff, but you're still in the hook speed state, so the sword is actively doing damage while you're hooking the puffs, but you have to move side to side so you don't keep your sword in a puff so you don't drop it. It's insanity.
You can also do triple spins as well. That's really, really difficult as well, but you can actually hook 3 puffs and spin them with Master Sword. I think this guy saw Scudge doing a video on that one time.
By the way, I
3
saw
puffs, yeah, there you go.
Bommy, I saw you already here earlier. I'm not sure if you're still here. We were talking about you earlier. When we were talking about your run of A Link to the Past in, I think, 2010. You were going for the world record. Ganon the Great. What a name. I beat Legend of Zelda and Adventure of Link.
Well, I have to ask, is this 35 hours straight up, no sleep, no breaks?
So no, it's a deceptive marketing here. So the actual event is going to be 39 hours. But I'm playing for 35 hours.
Nice. Okay.
So there's a
And
few.
this is continuously with no breaks.
That might be like health violations or something. I don't know. We gotta...
Dude, there is games where people speedrun for like 200-hour speedruns.
Well,
like, they're nuts.
I'm
like speedrunning for like 6 days, one game.
How long did the Majora's Mask 100% take you?
that was about 30 hours, I think. But the difference is that was like very like I don't feel like making any progress. Like, let me just mess around and, you know, take 25 bathroom breaks. Nothing's, you know, I'm not trying to beat the next split going. You know what I mean? Like,
I've always, gosh, sorry, Miguel, go ahead.
I was gonna say this is like, yeah, you're on the clock. You're trying to beat the next segment of the game before, like, faster than you've ever done it before for 35 hours. Nuts.
Well, that's why I kind of purposely picked some categories that I think I could compete in, and that I can finish the games in at least. So that's why I'm doing this instead of the NMG, actually. Because like, if I just was rusty and like, okay, I'm not going to beat my 10. Well, this is not exactly going as I planned here. Other than the Moldorm Fall, I don't know what. I think I still have a chance at a PB though. This is not.
Yeah, no, you got the time save coming up. 3 goals, so you're looking good. On it back.
And we're gonna be doing the bird activation in just a second here.
I don't know when I split. I think it's after he shows up.
I was gonna say, bring up an interesting or point of what I think is an interesting discussion about long speedruns is I don't know about everyone else, but I seem to have a small bladder, so it seems, and I like to hydrate, but always like bursting like for the toilet, like sometimes like an hour into the run. And I wish I could just pause and take a bathroom break, but obviously in speedrunning and this game or in most games that's against the rules. So I've always thought at what point and if it would ever be a discussion, would people find it acceptable to actually take a pause break to let someone go to a bathroom, stretch, and have something to eat, you know?
In Breath of the Wild 100%, I believe you're allowed 2 6-hour sleep breaks.
Oh,
Really?
that's neat.
Yeah, that is cool.
It was something crazy like that.
To make it realistic to actually attempt it, that's super reasonable. Because it would be like physically dangerous to try and do that in like 20 hours or whatever.
Well, I feel the rules might have changed since, because it used to be like a 40-some hour speedrun. But now it's the time has gotten down to like near 24 hours, I think, or under. It might be in the teens. It might be like 19 hours. This room always gives me trouble.
Yeah, I struggle with a 90-minute run, like 6-hour run to have to do for like 5 pee breaks.
You know, we're gonna eat.
He's going for the medallion.
There it is. That's not a bad play.
Yeah.
We actually recommend to newer players to get the ether medallion immediately after the flute activation, specifically for this room.
Yeah.
It doesn't lose any time to do it that way, and it just makes that particular room so much more easy.
Yeah, and an NMG run, that's definitely one of the room killers, or it can be.
Hmm.
2 hits from them, they do 2 hearts each. And then you have to do the bomb jump, which is another heart. And then we intentionally take them as well. So you can be down 6 hearts pretty easily, which means you have to do moth with like 3 hearts or something like that.
I've seen people lose 2 minutes in the mummy statue room, and the ether medallion, it loses 6 seconds up front, but it's built in. You're not going to lose any more than that after that.
One thing I realized is like there's no, I got all the. That's not a glitch, is it? Bonking to get over the hole.
No,
Okay.
no, bonking's not. Bonking over's not a glitch, no.
Reset. I got the magic powder and the net, but there is like, other than that one anti-fairy, I should have got the one by the big key actually. I'm saying there's like no real good. It's hard
When you're exiting the mummy hellway, there's going to be a yellow bunny beam in the next room.
Yeah,
but
that's hard.
There's a Moldorm and a Gibdo in that room, so it can be kind of sketchy to go for it. But that's
there's the one. Yeah, are you talking about the one
that turns you into a bunny?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a strat to get it. You basically dash out the room and you pause. As you get right under the pot, you switch to your powder and then you face up and spam it.
It's really risky to try and catch it.
Yeah, don't catch it.
Yeah, I meant to ask, what's your emulator setup? I know some emulator setups are very good. Like if you use RetroArch, they actually mention in the rules that you can't have like some setting, it's called like run ahead or something on RetroArch, because it makes the latency actually better than console, believe it or not.
I'm using SNES 9 and it's vanilla settings, I think.
Fire Road Knight guy is a good play as well.
Yeah, what am I doing? Let's kill every enemy in this. 100% enemy kill. Okay, let me equip this just in case.
Oh my goodness, that would make for an interesting run if that was even possible to track something like that.
This is not the way to do this. What is this? Maybe one of these 45-second Moldorm battles. Hopefully.
So, just for your chat there. There's a recent discovery which allows us to delete the heart containers. And by delete, we basically it's I think it's a VRAM glitch that they say, or that we overload the RAM and it basically can't process the fact that the game has given you a heart. And what it allows you to do is to basically collect and defeat all the bosses in the game without ever gaining any heart pieces. So we have created a category which you have to do the entire game. You're not allowed to get any mail or any safeties or anything like that, and you only have 3 hearts to do the whole.
I don't want to die.
It is insanity.
I don't want to die.
This is an intense battle.
I don't want to die. I want to live forever.
No.
I was playing so cautious and it fell apart. Alright, I think that might have eliminated a chance at getting a PB. But this is not a PB. Because, remember, I cheated. I hookshot through a block in Ganon's tower.
So this is so any run is a PB. Let's go.
Yeah.
Guaranteed PB. It's not the like.
Oh,
So
nice
the-
drop.
The deal with Mothula in the Japanese version is they coded his damage detection with the spikes wrong. So if Mothula gets hit and then hits a spike afterward, it overwrites the damage to 0. And funny enough, you actually can't kill Mothula with the gold sword because it does the same damage value as the spikes.
Wow. So what if... Oh, well... So what if you're in randomizer... You have the gold sword before Mothula. You just gotta...
Use the hammer or something.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
They might have.
Go ahead, sir.
They might have patched that glitch in randomizer. I'm not 100% certain.
What is happening here? Falling apart. Oh my god.
I believe.
Let's go. Let's go.
They patched the gold sword in Rando. Nice.
Oh, come on. Don't come right at me. Oh! I'm falling apart
Yeah,
here.
he is hard. It is not an easy fight.
This is amateur
Then-
hour here.
Yeah, this stretch of the game is why I say I feel like this category is more difficult than standard NMG in a lot of ways.
Well, thank you. I want that fairy.
Hmm
The fairy.
Yeah,
That was the killer.
Dash straight out into the room, and you'll clear a spot to powder that guy.
Oh. Okay. I wanted to capture it, but I think I think capturing a fairy. If you're going for safety, you know. Oh, jeez. Getting the fairy in the boss key room is the way to go.
Hmm
Am I dashing too early there, by the way?
That counted for 1 hit. That's good.
Can you get a double hit with Master Sword?
I never had any reason to think you couldn't.
Like I can never tell if I'm actually hitting him or if he's hitting spikes. Oh god. Stupid.
Yeah, trust me, I've been doing this for a long time, and it's so difficult to tell. Yo, we got it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Sometimes something that you were sure was a hit doesn't count, and you're just like, how?
Yeah, and in the speedrunning game at a higher level, every time you miss one, it's like 2 seconds every missed hit, or something like that. It doesn't seem like much, but 3 missed hits, that adds up pretty quickly.
Like, if you can keep it contained to like a 11-second fight, that's the ideal situation. entropy gets out of hand extremely quickly in that room.
So up next we got a Gargoyle's Domain. Do you have any idea what the reference point of that is?
I don't.
In the Nintendo of America strategy guide.
Yeah, I've heard this before, but go ahead.
Yeah, Bobby.
I don't know if I've heard this one.
They refer to the dungeon as Gargoyle's Domain, not Thieves' Hideout. Whoever walks this way, this is like...
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's called Gargoyle's Domain in the official strategy guide for the game.
There's also a difference between, is it US and European as well, I believe. One calls it Thieves' Town and another calls it Thieves' Hideout.
Is it Thieves' Hideout or Blind's Hideout?
Or I can't remember. There's some difference between PAL and US, I think, on one of these dungeons. And it's something small like that.
Alright, this dungeon is exactly the same in NMG and regular. If I recall, right? Yeah,
there's no... Yep. I'm trying to think, there's no glitches. Nothing that can rip your run glitch-wise, I think.
Yeah, and you have the added advantage of the extra 2 hearts that you normally wouldn't have here. So, Thieves' Town, funny enough, gets easier.
And the blind fight's always the same as well. It's 9 hits no matter whether you have Master Sword or Tempered.
Mm-hmm. Or Gold Sword too, I believe.
Yeah, it's 9 hits.
Or
he doesn't have a... Yeah, you can use the Cane of Samaria. That does just as well.
Oh, really?
I'd say, to answer your question there, Nintendo Freak, I think it changes during your speedrunning career, for sure. Your least favorite changes on a monthly basis, depending on where you're dying.
This is true.
Like all of a sudden, you'll have no problem with the boss for months, and then all of a sudden you rip 2 runs in Cold Stare for no apparent reason. It becomes the worst dungeon.
I was gonna say Cold Stare is the usual suspect as far as bosses that are fine for a long time and then suddenly impossible.
I like Cold Stare.
I have my own Cold Stare thing that I do, and I can't get away from it. It's about a second or so, 70 frames slower, but it's very consistent, and I can't get away from doing it yet. I do not like the optimal poke strats for that boss fight. But yeah, I'd say that Ice Palace is probably one of the biggest run killers across the board. And what I mean by that is for all skill levels, good, bad, top players, bottom players, I'd say that's probably where a lot of the runs are ripped more than anything.
Yeah, that's fair.
What am I doing?
Ice Palace just has one of the hardest sequences of rooms in the entire game aside from Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, I me personally, I don't know about you, Muga, but me personally, from the bombable floor to the lonely fire bar is the hardest segment in the whole game for me. It's
so easy to lose 5 seconds in like a minute stretch, and typically you're trying to keep your time loss to around 5 or so seconds per 7-minute segment, and it can all just go away right there. So easy.
Yeah, and you guys are about to see, if you're not familiar with, like I said, we've talked about NMG. We have a trick called the IPBJ, which I will bring up for you right away.
Jelly?
And it basically allows you to skip most of the Ice Palace dungeon. And the cool thing about this category is you have to do it all, which I know a lot of people kind of maybe moan and groan about it, but actually it is quite. I think it's quite a lot of fun. And once people get the hang of it, it's. I know that Fricker, who's in the chat there, he actually optimized the routing of it very recently because I know he was running it, and I know WQ, who's the former NMG world record holder for many years, he was actually running this as well, and the two of them were optimizing it pretty hard. So it was kind of cool to see them trying to optimize the vanilla Ice Palace with all these like cool ice mechanics and slashes, dashes, and stuff.
I gotta say, Ice Palace has the most clever design layout of all the dungeons, probably. Well, as it is originally intended. There's nothing else quite like it.
Yeah, that girl did just turn into a demon.
Yeah. Spoilers. Sorry.
She says, "Take me outside. Don't do it."
There is actually a really, really cool. I think I've probably shown you before, Moogle. Fan art, Zelda and Blind, and I fell in love with it the moment. I'll send it to you.
Drop it in the
I'd love
chat.
to see that.
It's unbelievable. I just think it's the best fan art I've ever seen. I'm gonna find it right now for you guys.
What am I doing? Tempered sword. Okay. Tempered sword, then ice pill.
Yeah, Blind is a scripted fight, but there are quite a few scripted fights in this game, but just because it's scripted does not mean the execution is easy.
Moogle, when was the last time you ever saw Blind at the bottom of the screen?
Usually you won't see Blind at the bottom of the screen for a sub 90 player typically, but I tell you what though, even in my skill range, every once in a while, somebody will mess up the second phase and it goes off the rails a little bit. You're never gonna see a player at my level die to Blind, but sometimes it gets a little hairy in there.
You know who I just saw rip a run to Blind?
Don't tell me.
WQ last week.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, he's probably regarded as one of the best players ever, and yeah, he ripped one the other day. He said he hadn't done it. But it happens.
Yeah, I guess so. You do it enough times, something's bound to happen.
For all you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys are in Zelda's Discord there. I posted in the artwork there the Blind art fan art that I was talking about, if you guys want to see it.
You can post it directly. Is it a link? Can you post it in the...
I could probably post it directly. Yeah, hold on, I'll try and see.
Oh, I'm supposed to leave screen. Ah!
I can put it directly in here. There you go.
Yeah, I've never seen this. This is insane.
I want to see it. Well, I'll have to wait till the end of Ice Palace to see it.
It's so good.
Okay. That's so metal.
Mm.
That's an interesting way to jump.
Yeah, the old back jump.
Hold top left, jump top right. So is there an optimized route through this
There is actually I actually got Dom, who's a very famous hardcore room grinder in the community, and we have a really cool splice called Dom Splice, which is basically him grinding every room, and I mean like grinding some rooms, 5-second rooms for 4 hours to get the fastest time possible, and he does it through the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He spent about a year and a half grinding this game to dust and did so many things that Like, he found so many new things, did things that people did not think were possible. The guy's a freak.
Just saving like, you know, like frame here kind of thing.
Like he was squeezing one frame, you know, spending hours to squeeze one frame. Like I am not kidding. Like I think like he spent, you know, 6 to 8 hours in one room sometimes.
Right.
It's I put a link for you guys for another time to check it out. It's the guy deserves, you know, all the kudos for that project because it is insane.
The previous world record for a human theory task like this before that was about 50 seconds slower, and he found all of these time saves and executed them on his own. Absolute madman.
He saved 50 seconds over a tool-assisted speedrun?
Well, not tool-assisted, but like the fastest
Okay.
splice of human played rooms ever done. He saved 50 seconds over some 500 rooms. Pretty incredible.
That's pretty much my favorite video.
Ashton.
This just kind of goes to show you that it takes so many different kinds of people to make a great speedrunning community, because he's not, you know, an active speedrunner, but he spent a year and a half on this project finding so many great things for the community.
Yeah, we have like people like a guy named Yuzuhara. You know, he's not regarded, I'd say, as one of the top speedrunners, but he has found probably like so much stuff it's not even funny in this game that people use. You know, like I don't know how much stuff he's found, but it's got to be a lot.
So do you have to do this initial run around this dungeon, right? Like this?
Yes.
Okay, so this
You
part-
know, I haven't done this right for a while, but yeah, you have to go through this twice actually, I think. But yeah, like the speedrunning community is made up of so many different types of people who have got different interests and different skill sets, and it all comes together for one person to utilize what they think is best in order to get the fastest time possible. It's pretty cool. And A Link to the Past is a great community. It really does. I mean, there's a lot of good info, and like there's really good tutorials done by lots of different people. The FMG tutorial lately, like it's very in depth. That, you know, we were talking earlier, like I was able to progress through the game really fast, but the only reason I was able to do that is because of A, the amount of people that were willing to help you, and B, the information that's there's basically a video that you can just watch from start to 10 to 12 hours worth of data, and you just follow it, and you can become a sub 30 runner in a month or two if you put some work in.
One of the biggest goals I had for the FMG tutorial, you know, beyond the tutorial itself, was the effect that it ultimately has on the community. Is we had the idea that we wanted to put out all of this secret top speedrunner knowledge and make it accessible for people, because, you know, normally when you're grinding this game at a high level, there's not this information that's readily available. In order to learn those things, you have to just play the game and figure things out for yourself, more or less, and it's a process that takes many months to really get a feel for it. And the only people that know these things are the people that have done this whole process themselves. And so what we did is we distilled this knowledge into something that's accessible and made it so everybody can get good at the game now, and it frees up all of this extra time for them to go and do other projects that also contribute value to the community. So everybody benefits from having more free time. It's great.
These are like all the rooms you never see.
DLC rooms.
Yeah. Oh, I already have a fairy. Yeah, this dungeon is so long, but then it's so short when you're using the tricks.
In the restricted major glitches category, the Ice Palace segment takes all of about 3 minutes.
How long does it take an NMG? About 5 minutes or something, or 6 minutes?
It's about 6.5.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, if you thought NMG skipped a lot of Ice Palace, try RMG.
Yeah, major category glitches in this game is... They really are. From someone who... Go ahead, sorry.
In RMG, the first thing you do is plant a bomb in the very first room and clip through the corner of the wall, and that skips half the dungeon. And then you do another little clip and go through like 2 more rooms, and you're in the boss room.
It just sounds so speedrunny.
There's like, it's like a completely different game. Like, I like going to like a glitch speedrun would have no, I do have no idea.
Oh my god, Catherine, when Link was in the falling animation on the overworld running around, that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Glenn is, oh man, what a good dude.
Yeah, that was a great run, actually. Very, very good run. Very highly entertaining, the glitch fest that happened there at GDQ.
And then the light show to finish it off at the end. I've never seen that before.
There's actually a funny thing that happens in our Prac hack we use in the Master Sword form. You grab the Master Sword, and it was a bug. It was one of the versions, and when forest,
Yeah.
like rainbow, like fluorescent colors, and starts glitching out like Link's is taking LSD or something. It's pretty funny.
It was pretty great. I'm sad we had to retire that version of the practice hack. It was pretty good.
Oh man, I missed having a fire rod for this fight.
That was quite a good cold stare fight. You get that setup where you send him over in the corner, and just like 5 or 6 fire rod shots later, he's pretty much done.
The speedrunning strat, when you get him in the corner and just... I feel like a lot of people's runs mess up when one of them gets loose.
Mm-hmm.
Because he does a lot of damage. He does 4 hearts of damage, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So,
it took so long to get Satan off a half magic because that fire rod kill is so cozy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's one of the hardest fights, because when you get, when you start progressing through, you got green mail, and it's, 4 hearts of damage, and the little droplets do 2, and they spread out. Or if you don't do the fight right and they spread out, you have a cloud puff party. It's not fun.
Yeah, if you're less than 9 hearts in that boss, if it goes off the rails, you can kill you in less than 2 seconds. It's over before you even know what happened.
Looks so weird seeing Link with a blue tunic.
I agree. It's funny.
I like it. I should go
blue
get the
tunic, yellow sword, and yellow hat.
I should go get the
best.
fire shield just for shits and giggles. Make him look even a little more on.
Yeah, funny thing that I never worked out as a kid, I didn't know you could get a gold.
Oh, so you can get a gold sword, you say?
I did. Yeah, I didn't know there was a gold sword until I started.
I didn't know it until like until I started doing stuff with the website and doing stuff online. I didn't know there was a good B as well.
Yeah.
I always did the fight with tempered and silvers. I never thought to throw my sword in there.
I kind of like how games from this era just put things there for you to discover, though. Like, if you never went in the bomb shop, you never would have known, oh, there's this giant bomb there. Or if you did go in it, but you haven't beaten Ice Palace and Mire yet, you know, you'd never know.
Yeah, it's like, what happened, it's just, what happened to my house here? This guy's just selling bombs? I think, does he hint that there's gonna be, like, a new bomb available or something?
I would hope so. I haven't played it in English in so long. I don't know what
There
anybody
is
says
hints.
anymore.
There are hints. I can't... Like, the fortune teller gives you hints along the way if you ever get lost. 'Cause I remember when I did my casual playthrough, there was a couple of things I couldn't remember, and then I went to the fortune teller and he told me. I had to spam him and give him like 100 rupees before he actually told me what he wanted to tell me. That's always a funny thing that we're like, it's just more of a funny concept, but it's like we have Zelda running through trying to spiral and stuff on his journey.
I guess I appreciate that it's necessary for you to find it, but they don't just outright give it away. You gotta look for it.
Little boy is turned up.
Here's another room coming up that's different because you can't do the fire rod glitch.
Yeah, this is true.
You gotta do this room as intended. It's like, it's funny because like the top room has the extra blocks, but the bottom room doesn't. I can do those two, but then I, you know, these I can just do down here. This dungeon has, I think, the most rooms that you don't have to go to.
Yeah, that or GT, I think.
Gans Tower, the whole first side of the dungeon, yeah.
Yeah, there are so many extra keys in this dungeon, Palace of Darkness. There are so many keys that are not necessary.
Funnily enough, when I'm not a huge rando player, but I have done around 4 or 5 randomizers and some of the more extreme ones, and I went to it after I was a sub 90 runner, and I had no clue what I was doing. I don't know where anything was. Any of the rooms are completely lost.
Yeah, like when I was in the Moldorm cave, you're like, I've never seen this room before.
Yeah, there's like so many rooms that you just don't even know. Like, tell me something like, what a hype cave is back up. Like, no idea what hype cave is. You know, or something along those lines when you do some new routes or new runs.
Hype cave.
So it's...
What a name.
Yeah. There's lots of little different caves in this game. I remember when I did my casual, because before I speedrun the game, I wanted to do a casual of it just for nostalgia purposes. And I was one heart piece away from 100%. I couldn't get it. I didn't know where it was. And I had to eventually look at a guide to find it. I was pretty disappointed.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying when I was a kid, and I was talking to my friend's uncle about the game, and I was like, I'm one heart piece away. I don't know where the last one is. And he's like, well, you probably missed the one on the floating island on Death Mountain. Yeah,
your friend's uncle. Did he work for Nintendo?
No, he was just a guy.
Is that
like video games apparently?
That was like a running joke. Did that get into your life too, or it's like, I know my uncle. He works for Nintendo, and like he knows all. That was not a thing in your world.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought that was.
We had to call the Nintendo hotline to have him tell us how to open Skullwoods because we couldn't figure out to fire rod the thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
I do remember calling the Nintendo Power Hotline for that.
That is cool. That is some golden stuff. That is.
Did it cost you like $5?
Like $3.99 a minute, yeah. Or whatever.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to think what the hardest. Getting the probably the blue cane is one of the hardest things, I think, probably.
Oh boy.
Maybe as a casual player who's have no experience of the game.
Yeah, the blue cane is insane. Hidden behind a hallway of spikes.
That was a stupid death.
Oh,
There was no reason for that to happen.
that's alright, we got fairies. Yeah, what's that? I struggle with the names again. What's that cave that you get with the eye gores and I think there's a mold arm in it?
Mimic Cave?
Yeah, Mimic Cave, that one.
Yeah, there's a hard piece I think that's the only hard piece in the game that you have to go inside a dungeon to get to it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think is that what's in there, a heart piece?
Yeah.
Technically, you gotta go. Well, technically, you don't. There's the one in
Yeah,
the
I
Legend
think
Desert
that's the
Palace.
one that I was missing in my casual play. Was that one?
Yeah, that's a tricky one because you gotta exit Turtle Rock from like halfway through the dungeon and go to Light World.
Yeah, Mothula wasn't having it. Gonna let me have it.
Yeah, moth deaths are some of the most costly up there with cold stare as well. I think cold stare is around 3 minutes, and moth is around what, a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, depending on how far into the fight.
By the way, in the rules for this category, you have to get silvers. That's a requirement,
Yes,
right?
you don't have to get golds, but you do have to kill Ganon. That is in the rule set, and it's to stop people doing tempered Ganon.
Why? Is that because you think that's a glitch?
Because it wasn't the intended way for the game to be finished.
Okay.
More so to speak, rather than being a glitch or not.
Hmm.
I like that.
And funny enough, I still think it's slower to get Gold Sword, even though you're in the pyramid.
It is. We timed it. It's about 7 seconds slower to get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Because what
because
is
it takes about 15 seconds to get the gold sword, and it's
You're
about
literally
second.
right there, and it's still slower to use the Gold Sword. It's crazy.
You should save a little bit of time on Trinex, and a couple of other small time saves. You save time on Ganon as well. I get no, you don't save any time on Ganon. Sorry.
you don't save any time on Ganon?
No, because you 1-in-1. You 1-in-1 on whether you have.
Hmm. You get the
Doesn't make a
fastest cycle
difference.
possible with Tempered, so it makes no difference.
You save time getting silvers, right? It's silvers that save you time.
Hmm.
The gold sword makes the fight easier though, because it's 6 slashes versus 12.
I'm gonna get the gold sword.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Why did I lose so much time on this split? Oh, I think I forgot to go somewhere. Oh, no, I know what I did. I forgot to add it to the split. I gotta get the ice rod. I remember making these splits and I'm like, wait, I don't have the ice rod yet.
A couple of other things you can chuck in this thing. I think you can chuck an empty potion in. Yeah, it fills it up, and
Green potion, or I think, is that this one? That might be the other cave. I know the
you
other
can
one.
chuck,
you can
chuck
throw-
a boomerang in and she'll upgrade it as well.
Yeah, Boomerang Shield.
Boomerang shield and potion, yeah. Have you ever? This happened to me before. Have you ever been to Trinex? Obviously not as a
Oh,
speedrunner.
everybody has done that. Everybody has done that.
You know what I'm
Oh,
getting at,
yeah.
right? And
I touch wood. It's one of the things I have never done in this game. touching a lot of wood. I've never done it. But I am adamant about putting stuff like that in my splits, and I'm a big split reader. I actually cannot complete without the splits. I realized that when I did my first tourney, and I ran it without splits because I didn't want to have that. And I had to load splits up during the run to realize where I was going next. Because I have them like labeled, like I have them like mirror Meyer, so that I know I'm mirroring, menuing, and I've got like flip 4, flippers, this, that, medallion, like, so I literally type it out in my splits so that in a run I don't have to worry about it. I just look at the splits and I go.
Yeah, that's such a common thing to do. I had my splits labeled like that for a long time.
I think I have 300 splits in Wind Waker because of that. It's a 7-hour run, but like I'm not familiar with the game, and
Shit. I think I was famous for having the longest split titles for 3 Heart Law in the history of the game. You should have seen my first splits when I started running.
I love it.
It's like an essay splits. Abbreviation codes and all sorts of stuff.
I
Because
get
there's
the,
like... Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I get the 300 splits though, because like, okay, you're like writing instructions to yourself, do this next, do this next.
Yep.
I'm actually gonna have to see if I can find a picture of those original splits that I made way back.
I think even when I first started playing this game, it was like, I did that. What's it called when you're going shopping? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had a split for like bird, magic powder, ether, ice rod. They were all individual splits. Like I don't want to forget to get one of these. Alright, this room used to give me a lot of trouble as a kid. And now it still gives me trouble because I can never get the like quick hook shot. You know how you can like I don't bother trying to hook to that torch at the bottom right. I just hook to this one. You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
is that just? It's just a little,
It just takes practice, basically.
what was that garbage?
You can spam it, or you can time it. I prefer to spam the menu and spam the hook out the menu, and some people prefer to time it, but it's just one of those things. It just takes practice. It's not easy, though. It's not an easy trick by any matter of means. It's actually one of my worst tricks, I would say. I've been actually thinking about working on a visual cue for it because I've been making mistakes in runs.
It's one that I struggle with more than I'd like to admit.
This is where game over is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Hardest room. I don't have a.
This is the hardest room in the game, in my opinion.
Learned some good strategies watching people play over the years, but
Very good state. That's a very interesting question. What is the hardest room in a game?
oh god, what is this nonsense? What is going on? Come on, Moss, you're better than this.
One thing you can do too is pick up one of the blocks and throw it to the top left corner of the room, and then it's safe there, and you can activate it whenever you feel like it.
Oh. I always forget here. Do you go through the first tunnel or the second tunnel?
First one.
Closest one first.
Yep, closest one first, yeah.
Something you might find interesting, Bitey. Back in like 2008, when I got my first Android phone, I downloaded a Super Nintendo emulator so I could play this game on my phone. And I was reading the game FAQs forums, and there was some guy that did a low percent challenge, wanted to see if it was possible to beat the game with no bottles, no upgraded equipment, no anything. So I got all the way to Trinex with no bottles, Master Sword, no sank card, nothing. And I determined in like 2009 that it was not possible to beat Trinex with minimum equipment.
Was it because of magic?
Interesting.
It was because I ran out of magic. I couldn't figure out a way to kill Trinex with just the Master Sword and no magic refill. But I learned later on as a speedrunner that you can actually do it with the hammer because the hammer does like temper sword damage.
Oh man, that is fascinating. I didn't realize where you were with that, but I just realized I've never actually tried to kill him with just magic and no half magic and a master sword. That's neat. That's really neat.
I tried for a couple days and I gave up on it.
I didn't know. I remember I tried doing something similar, but I didn't know you could hold your sword out when you do the you can use the rod while you're holding your sword out.
Yeah, sure.
And like that flew over my head.
That's something we do for the Ganon fight a lot, because you want to be facing the torch while you're setting up for a sword spin.
Oh, by the way, is the Bidey Mossy's block bomb jump clip thing here allowed? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that one. Yeah, Bitey is a really interesting setup for...
Bitey, am I allowed to do the trick we found out?
Laser scope.
Did we lose Bitey here?
Looks like we lost him.
I don't know if it's allowed or not, so we're just gonna eat a laser. I don't know how to do this room. But I usually just I place a bomb and let it knock me back. On that to be
I'd say that's probably passable.
Okay. That was a super clean laser skip right there. Well, just as intended. Oh, that's not a smart idea. The platform stops moving when you do a spin attack. Did I mess that up? Why did I... Going.
I brought a little guest to say hello.
We have,
Hi.
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 I'm failing so much here. Biden, we had a question for you.
Speedrun earlier.
We didn't know if the Bidey Mossy's bomb skip to get by the laser was allowed in Glitchless.
Yeah, it's high frames.
Okay. I didn't do it,
Yeah.
so I wasn't sure.
Anything iframe related is fine. Laser skip is also fine.
I didn't do it, and it caused me to die.
That's not true at all.
Well, would I have not had to use a fairy?
What do you think who's your favorite boss in this game, Stella?
Is Colster...
Moldorm? Yeah. Who's the hardest boss?
The hardest boss is the last one in the game.
Little piggy?
Yeah, him.
Yeah, I think so too.
Kitty.
The piggy.
Yeah, he is the hardest one. I have a baby.
This is a great content here.
Yeah, anything to do with children is great content.
How does she know what Moldorm's name is?
Yeah, we know all the names. We actually make bosses out of clay
Oh, really?
for artwork. Yeah,
That's awesome.
we made a Moldorm clay thing as a project.
I can imagine
And
like having like a 1-year-old. You're just teaching them the letters and basic words.
I'm teaching them about I like to the past bosses.
It's like spell. Okay, this is capital M. Oh, what's that spell? Moldorm. Like,
Funnily enough, her favorite like enemy when she was starting off was Ball and Chain. So Satan actually designed her some artwork and sent it to her in the mail.
oh my god.
It was so good, yeah. Ball and Chain Trooper, and it was all done in individual pixels.
Still got it on the wall here in her room.
Oh, that's great. I always use the cane here, but it sounds like the boomerang is much faster.
The boomerang is a little bit faster, yeah, but the cane is so much easier. I recommend using the cane for anybody starting out with the game, just because there's no trick to it. You don't have to stand in a certain spot and hook shot to the other block, and it's way easier.
How long was it? About a month ago when you did the 12.5-hour stream of this dungeon?
Yeah, 100 Ganon's towers in a row without stopping.
So,
12.5 hours. Yeah, I really wanted it to be sub 12:30, but I ended up taking a death in Aghanim in one of the very last attempts. So,
just to give everybody clarification, Moogle here had set up like a save state and played Ganon's Tower 100 times in a row from start to finish. And you got progressively better a little bit, right? Or did you?
Yeah. I definitely I would say that it leveled up my Ganon's Tower significantly.
That's awesome.
Dude, I debated doing that with Swamp literally last night. I just had enough of it.
Swamp Pals? Oh god.
I went on like a 90-minute like session of Swamp because I was so annoyed with this last night. I lost like 22 seconds in the dungeon in the fight. That was painful stuff.
A lot of improvement in this is just seeing certain patterns enough times to know how to react to it, and yeah, putting yourself through that 100 times is you learn to recognize and react to things that you weren't able to see before, so it makes such a difference.
And it's also a wicked challenge too.
Yeah, I've never done a 12-hour gameplay challenge before, so that was a good time. A lot of people came out.
Yeah, I've been debating doing like a 24-hour stream at some point.
Have you ever done? So what's it like? Have you ever done a really long stream before?
I've done 12, 13 hours before.
Okay.
I think 13 is my longest. I haven't done any longer than that. Mainly because, well, I have children. So it'd have to be like a weekend and the COVID restrictions are lifted, and you know, a weekend where I'm not with my kids and stuff like that. So it have to be a bachelor's weekend where I could do something like that.
There's a lot of those weekends in my life right now. Including this one. I was over at my mom and dad's house earlier this week. My parents, they come over once in a while, and I have to explain to them. I'm like, yeah, Mom, Dad, you guys can't come over to my house this week. What do you mean, why? We're not invited. I'm like, I got something going on. You're gonna have people over? Like, they're still like, you can't have people over. Because of everything going on. I'm like, no, I'm not having a party or anything. It's I'm like, I'm just doing something on the computer. that was the extent of what needed to be said.
I think that it's becoming more mainstream, which I think is a cool idea. Like I have to be honest, I think like sort of maybe growing up, I think the being seen as kind of a thing, for grown men to be playing games back in the day, and I'd laugh at like comments like that. I think it's just so silly. Like some people like to watch sports, some people like to cook or build stuff. I like to play games, and I'm happy about it. I spend a lot of time playing games, and
I always kind of thought of it as they used to say rock and roll was for kids, hip hop was for kids, video games are for kids. You like the things that you like, and you're always going to like those things. So when you get older, video games aren't just for kids anymore. It's just that kids were the only people that liked them initially. So
yes, I think that's the big point right there.
And we've all grown up, and we still like our things.
I don't think, well, it's kind of, we've gone through an entire generation here, but like, think of the, when I think of like the NES era, I don't know if there were many 40-year-olds playing the NES. I could be wrong. I just don't think there were there definitely were some, but I don't think there were that many. But there are definitely, and those people didn't like, when they were 45 or 50, pick up an N64 all of a sudden. Maybe they picked up a Wii, but that's a different story. But or a DS.
Yeah, my grandparents absolutely despised Nintendo 64 graphics. It was too colorful for them. They couldn't look at it.
But all those, 12-year-olds with the NES are, they're still playing now when they're 40, even though when their parents were 40, they weren't going to touch the console.
Yeah.
So I think you were right on point with that comment. But now we've gone through an entire generation, kind of, where it's like there's nobody who's, other than like 70-year-olds or something, like everybody's grown up with video games now.
Well, you see all those old rock and roll guys that are like 70, 80 years old, and they're still going on world tours, so, we're not slowing down with the video games anytime soon.
Yeah. I think that the whole COVID thing has exploded the popularity of streaming. Like, funnily enough, I run a DJ business, which unfortunately had to shut it down for COVID. But funnily enough, at the same time that basically my business closed, is when I started streaming, and I got into gaming. But then what happened is I started to do live streaming in the business world, and I'm actually doing that business. I do live streaming for funerals, and I do live streaming because people can't.
Sure.
Live stream. And I live stream events at schools where you're not allowed to have it's there. Live stream. I got the equipment, just playing games, but it actually has benefited me in life. So that's kind of a cool side part to the story for me, anyways.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't. Everything is live streaming now. I mean,
I'm kind of curious when Zelda Dungeon started taking off and it became an actual business venture for you. How did your parents respond to that when you started taking it more seriously?
Well, it went hand in hand with two things. One, I graduated college in 2009. Then I went to grad school, and I went for teaching. And I got my teaching certification in spring of 2011. And this was, I don't know how, I think we're about the same age, or maybe, I don't know. But that was during like the great, the recession.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really, the job market was awful at the time. Well, he did not hit him enough times. So like there was no chance to get a job in the field that I was looking for. So I was like looking at like getting a different job. But then I'm like, so I've been running Zelda Dungeon at that point for almost 10 years. I mean, the site's been around since '01, but it was a hobby for basically 10 years.
Yeah.
But then it was like Skyward Sword was coming out, and like it was it was making me a little like side money, like a couple $100 kind of thing a month, just to get through high school and college. But then like I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna get a teaching job, so I'm like, I'm gonna try to put some more time into this and do it like full time for a little while, see if I can make it work. So it was like it went hand in hand in the sense that like I was not gonna get a regular job right then and there because of the. I don't know if I'm like kind of rambling here, but
yeah, I guess I don't know if you ever did the website as a full-time job at any point, or if you're doing that now.
It's not my only job, but it is my primary source of revenue.
Yo, that is very cool.
Yeah, totally, man. That's wicked.
I guess that's gonna be it for the pig. Good game. Thanks for having us on. It was fun.
Thank you. I really appreciate. I wish this was a little better. I feel this is like the third time now that you guys have been on commentary, and I've had a terrible run.
Well, that was a PB, right?
It's gonna get submitted.
Yeah,
it will get submitted. So is
Yeah,
this the
there you
fourth?
go.
No, don't even sweat it, man. We had a good time.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Well, thanks again. Where are we at? It's 2:00. What time is Link's Awakening supposed to start? Well,
Why does he have a yellow hat?
be sure to let's see. We can do a. Can we? Okay, thank you, Catherine. That's exactly what I needed.
GG.
Be sure to follow if you're interested in seeing good Link to the Past gameplay. Vide and Moogle are great. They always have very entertaining streams as well.
You're too kind.
You guys are good.
You're
really good.
I appreciate you having us on. I always love you just hanging out with cool people who are doing cool things and just having a chat about, speedrunning and stuff. It's always a good time. So
Yeah, it's a lot of fun getting to do events like this and just casually hang out and talk about speedrunning.
Well, I'm going to take a quick break once the credits kick in here. And you guys have a good rest of the weekend. And if you're bored and you don't know what to do, 31
Danny
hours
got
from
his
now,
fanny kicked.
I'll still be
GG
streaming.
misses.
Good luck with the rest of your stream.
I actually had it's in my living room, so I just have you on low there for the weekend. So
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna use the bathroom. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Or I'll
take
see you
care.
later.
Thanks everyone. Thanks chat. Thanks Mugo. Appreciate it.
Later, dude.
Okay, so Link's Awakening DX is up next. Ashton, are you around in this stream? Ashton will be joining us for a commentary for Link's Awakening. Okay, let me go update this schedule and drop the first 2 games from this, the first 3 games from this. Don, we have a very set schedule of exactly who is on commentary. All right, by the way, I removed Adventure of Link and Link to the Past and Link's Awakening from the schedule, so now that's not as... we are playing DX because I'm more familiar with DX. And, we're gonna save splits. Would you like to save this run as a personal best? So, yeah, we have, to keep my sanity, we have different people the whole time. So we have, like, Link's Awakening, Ashton will be joining me. She's one of the best players or she's a pretty good player for Link's Awakening DX, and then she's a really good player for Link's Awakening on the Switch, but it's her favorite game. And then beyond that, it kind of opens up where we have more of a variety of team members that are streaming, or that are going to be commentating. And I tried to make it where nobody's commentating more than once. So, that every 2 hours there's somebody new basically streaming or commentating. So it's like, otherwise if I'm talking to the same person for 8 hours, I might lose my mind. Let's see, up next is game 4 of 9. We are on Link's Awakening. They recently combined Link's Awakening and Link's Awakening Switch on Twitch. I love this theme, by the way. There's a cooldown period for the schedule. So it only can post every, I think it's 10 minutes, because I tried making it display differently and I didn't like it, so I made it, alright, it's going to make different posts, but we're going to make it only display every 15 minutes, and then as I get through, it'll have less of them. I think I can overwrite it though. Can I overwrite it? No, that's not that bad anymore. Okay, I'm gonna take a few. Ashton's gonna be on to join me for commentary. We're gonna start a few minutes before 2:30. We're gonna start in about 5 minutes or so. But let's. What did I just click? Let's close this emulator. Let's open up some Awakening DX. That's not what we want. Okay, we got the audio going.